All right, guys, let's take a short listen to the latest Mintcast podcast. This is from mintcast.org. Um, I think this clip is self explanatory because I use Windows 11 and Linux. So let me go ahead and click the play button. Again, this is from mintcast.org.
Now, for people who don't generally read BBC News does not put a lot of technology headlines in. If it is, it must be something big, for them to have decided to put it on. So Microsoft's new AI recall feature is causing concern for a UK watchdog group. The UK data watchdog says it's making inquiries with Microsoft over a new feature that can take screenshots of your laptop every few seconds. Microsoft says recall, which will store encrypted snapshots locally on your computer, is exclusive to its forthcoming Copilot Plus PCs. But the Information Commissioner's Office, ICO, which is more than just a UK watchdog, I'd like to point out, it's actually, so as a doctor, for example, I have to be registered with them. Because of using patient notes and whatever, so it's not just a watchdog. It's it's got some teeth. Anyway, it says it's contacting Microsoft for more information on the safety of the product, which privacy campaigners have called a potential privacy nightmare. Microsoft says recall is an optional experience, okay, and it is committed to privacy and security. Sorry, according to its website. Users can limit which snapshots Recall collects. Recall data is only stored locally and not accessed by Microsoft or anyone who does not have device access, the firm said in a statement. And it said a would-be hacker would need to gain physical access to your device, unlock it, and sign in before they could access saved screenshots. But an ICO spokesperson said firms must rigorously assess and mitigate risks to people's rights and freedoms before bringing any new products to market. We're making inquiries with Microsoft to understand the safeguards in place to protect user privacy, they said. Recall has the ability to search through all users' past activity, including files, photos, emails, and browsing history. Many devices can already do this, but Recall also takes screenshots every few seconds and searches these also. This could be a privacy nightmare, says Dr. Chris Shrishak, an advisor on AI and privacy. The mere fact that screenshots will be taken during the use of a device could have a chilling effect on people. Well, have a bit more of an effect, to be fair. Microsoft says it built privacy into Recall's design. Oh, really? Come on. From the beginning, and users will have control over what is captured. For example, users can opt out of capturing certain websites, and private browsing on Microsoft's own Edge browser will not be captured. People might avoid visiting certain websites and accessing documents, especially confidential documents, when Microsoft is taking screenshots every few seconds, said Dr. Shishak. And Daniel Tozer, data and privacy expert at Keystone Law, said the system reminded him of a dystopian Netflix program, Black Mirror. Microsoft will need a lawful basis to record and redisplay the user's personal information, he said. There may well be information on the screen which is proprietary or confidential to the user's employer. Will the business be happy for Microsoft to be recording this? And he asked how consent would work for people appearing on the screen of a video call or photo. Are they going to be given the choice as to whether to consent to that? User and access controls will be a key issue on which Microsoft will doubtless be focusing, he said. Meanwhile, Jen Coltrider, who leads the privacy team at Mozilla, yay, Mozilla got on the BBC, suggested the plans meant someone who knew your password could now access your history in more detail. This includes law enforcement court orders, or even for Microsoft if they change their mind about keeping all this content local and not using it for targeted advertising or training their AIs down the line. According to Microsoft, Recall will not moderate or remove information from screenshots which contain passwords or financial account information. That data may be in snapshots that are stored on your device, especially when sites do not follow standard internet protocols like cloaking password entry, said Mrs. Coltrider. I wouldn't want to use a computer running Recall to do anything I wouldn't do in front of a busload of strangers. That means more logging into financial accounts, looking up sensitive health information, asking embarrassing questions, or even looking up information about a domestic violence shelter, a reproductive health clinic, or immigration lawyer. So there is a lot to unpack and a lot to discuss.
This is frightening.
Yeah, there's not enough hours in a day.
Okay, I don't know how many times it's been discussed in the past.
Almost choked on my seltzer water here. All right, I won't play all of it. I'll have a link for this full podcast below in the show notes. So, all right, well, playing with Linux since 2006, you have several options. If you have time, Okay, maybe you're semi-retired or you've tinkered before with Linux or whatever. Take either Linux Mint, operating system Linux Mint, which is what I'm using now, or Zorn OS. One of those two, try those, or maybe both of those two. Buy yourself an inexpensive ThinkPad. I actually have one right here. This is an inexpensive ThinkPad. This was about $200. I believe it's about 5 years old. ThinkPads and Linux are a great marriage, and they've always been, as long as I can remember. Don't delete Windows 11 yet, in case Linux doesn't work out. But if you have time, one of these ThinkPads should work for you. If you have time to tinker, don't mind if things don't work perfectly sometimes, but a ThinkPad for $200 and a form of Linux that's easy to use, such as Linux Mint, might be an option. So I'll put this down. What about if you don't have time? I don't know. I have a couple relatives who are nurses, friends who are nurses. If I say Linux, their response will be, okay, but they're scared about Windows 11. That's when another option should be a Chromebook. All right, again, nice thin. These start about $200 also. The nice thing about these is the newer ones, the Chromebooks Plus, they'll give you 10 years of support or more. That's up to Google. Security is superb on the built-in security features in a Chromebook, and there's really zero maintenance. You get a Chromebook, you log in, there is no maintenance. Either it works or it doesn't work. Updates, downloads are performed in the background, and when the machine is ready to reboot to finish the updates, there's a little pop-up. You restart at your leisure. That's all there is in a Linux-powered Chromebook. So, yeah, I've been praising Windows 11 for the last couple years up until now. Yeah, it's pretty dumb. So, check out the podcast. And thanks to the Mintcast team for sharing this information. Take care.